Welcome back to the channel, tennis enthusiasts. I hope you're ready to unpack an incredible moment that just unfolded in the California desert. What we witnessed was nothing short of a game-changer, truly a seismic shift in the world of tennis. The impact of this has echoed from the sun-kissed courts of Indian Wells right to Kazakhstan and the vibrant streets of Manila. If you thought you had a handle on how the BNP Paribas Open would play out this year, or if you believed the story for the top seeds was already set in stone, think again. We just experienced one of the most astonishing and head-turning upsets but even saying it feels surreal. Kazakhstan is in disbelief as we talk about the world number 3, the ice-cold, seemingly invincible Elena Rybakina, the 2023 Indian Wells champion. The same woman who kicked off the year by triumphing at the Australian Open has faced an unexpected exit. But it's not just any defeat. She was outclassed, outperformed, and outlasted by the remarkable 20-year-old Filipina talent, Alexandra Eala. It's astounding to realize that Alexandra Eala, who just broke into the top 31 of the world rankings, managed to pull off this stunning victory. Many saw her as an underdog against the relentless power of Elena Rybakina, but Eala has just achieved the impossible. No one anticipated this outcome, the oddsmakers, the commentators, not even I expected it. And I highly doubt anyone in Rybakina's camp foresaw this storm brewing. Arriving in California, Rybakina carried the kind of momentum that unnerves opponents even before the match begins. We're speaking about a player who wasn't merely looking for rhythm, she was defining it. Her serve has been an unstoppable force, a missile that consistently saved her from any precarious positions. Her precise, aggressive ground strokes were perfectly crafted for gaining control of the match, and her recent victory in Melbourne solidified her status as one of the elite in women's tennis, standing proudly alongside Sabalenka and Swiatek. She was the overwhelming favorite, an immovable object. But today, under the unforgiving California sun, that object confronted an unstoppable will. Alexandra Eala entered the court not just as a young contender, but with the precision and focus reminiscent of a seasoned professional. We've witnessed Eala's gradual rise, her brilliance in junior circuits, her hard-fought battles on the ITF circuit, and her historic run at the Miami Open last year where she took down formidable opponents. We've marveled at her tenacity in the Middle East. Swing just a few weeks ago, battling back from the brink of seemingly insurmountable deficits in Abu Dhabi, and now shaking up the world in Dubai. We always believed in her talent and grit, but today's performance catapults her from a promising prospect to an undeniable giant slayer, a contender who can face the world number 3 and stand unwavering. The response to this match has been immediate and explosive. In Kazakhstan, where fans have woven their sporting identity around Rybakina's resolute dominance, the sports media is in utter disbelief. Headlines are all for Kazakhstan. Witnessing her early exit to a player outside the top 30 is a hard truth to digest. Online forums are buzzing with outrage, and analysts are left puzzled. How does a player regarded as having the best serve in women's tennis falter on a hard court? Who wake up at surreal hours just to watch her matches. Today, she delivered a performance for the ages, an extraordinary display of grit, resilience, and tactical genius that neutralized Rybakina's power. This wasn't a fluke win, this was Eala seizing the moment. She soaked up the pressure, extended the rallies, and compelled Rybakina to hit one more ball, then another, until frustration set in and errors followed. To truly grasp the significance of this upset, one must appreciate the context of the BNP Paribas Open. Indian Wells has earned its reputation as the 5th Grand Slam for good reason. The competition is fierce, the stakes are enormous, and the conditions can be deceptively tricky. The dry air and the quick desert altitude make the ball fly, but the court surface itself presents a gritty challenge. Slow. It creates a high bounce. Tennis demands consistency in performance. You can't simply overpower your opponents without a deep understanding of control and strategic finesse. Rybakina's style, characterized by aggressive flat shots and strong early ball striking, typically excels when she enters the court brimming with confidence, allowing her to take charge in challenging conditions. And she certainly arrived with that confidence. However, Eala skillfully turned those very conditions against her. She quickly realized that trying to match Rybakina's intensity, taking advantage of the slow, high-bouncing surface, Eala expertly employed heavy topspin, sending deep shots into the corners that pushed Rybakina back. This denied Rybakina the opportunity to take control and dictate the pace as she preferred. This match was nothing short of a masterclass in disruption. It highlighted the crucial point that tennis transcends the physical act of wielding a racket. It's played in the mind. It involves psychological strategy, momentum shifts, and subtle adjustments that can change the outcome. Eala faced the formidable Elena Rybakina, a player who had overpowered so many this season, and she methodically broke her down, piece by piece. Eala's performance demonstrated that speed, strong defense, tactical versatility, and an indomitable spirit can triumph over sheer force. This encapsulates the allure of our sport, the reason we watch. It reminds us that on any given day, like this unforgettable afternoon in California, the narrative can be dramatically rewritten, allowing a new star to etch their name in history with bold, unforgettable strokes. So, how did this 20-year-old from Manila manage to outplay the reigning Australian Open champion? Let's delve into a thorough analysis of this classic match, exploring it set by set, game by game, and tactic by tactic. To truly understand the moment, we should first examine the atmosphere before a single ball was hit. The stadium was packed, pulsating with the vibrant energy of Indian Wells, with the sun shining brightly and shadows gradually stretching across the court, and a very distinct divide in. The atmosphere was electric. On one side, there were the tennis purists, expecting a flawless display from the world number 3. On the other, a passionate group of Filipino fans filled the stands, waving flags and chanting, creating a vibrant Davis Cup-like setting for the second-round WTA match. Eala thrived on this energy. It was an inspiration for her. You could see it in her eyes during the coin toss, while Rybakina maintained her cold, trademark expression, almost seeming indifferent to the proceedings, a telltale sign of trouble for her opponents. Eala was bouncing on her toes, fully engaged, her eyes sharp and determined. The first set unfolded as the oddsmakers had predicted. Rybakina served with ferocious speed, her first serves consistently clocking in the high teens, precision hitting the corners of the court. Eala struggled to even touch the ball in her first 2 service games. Rybakina held serve effortlessly, taking less than 90 seconds to complete each game. When it was Eala's turn to serve, Rybakina moved in, attacking the second serve with aggressive returns down the line. Before anyone could process it, Rybakina had secured a double break and was leading 4-0. To the observers, it seemed like a massacre in the making. It looked as if Eala was completely overmatched, overwhelmed by both the occasion and the sheer power of Rybakina's shots. Commentators were already speculating on who Rybakina would face in the next round. But let's take a moment to acknowledge Alexandra Eala's incredible mental strength. A lesser player, someone younger or less seasoned, might have buckled under such pressure, tanking the set, accepting a bagel, and hoping to find their rhythm in the second. But not Eala. Trailing 4-0, she stayed composed. No panic, no reckless overhitting. Instead, she took a deep breath, glanced at her player's box, nodded, and got to work, pivoting her approach dramatically. Return position. Instead of trying to, Eala positioned herself well behind the baseline against Rybakina's first serve, nearly stepping into the California desert brush. This extra distance granted her a crucial moment to assess the ball's trajectory and simply return it to the play. Her aim wasn't to secure a clean return winner. It was about looping topspin shots that bounced high and deep into the court on the slower Indian Wells surface. These shots rose above Rybakina's preferred strike zone, forcing her to generate her own pace from such elevated balls, and soon, she appeared increasingly uncomfortable. Her once impeccable timing began to falter, leading to overhits on forehands and errors on backhands. Eala managed to break back, holding her serve through gritty rallies, bringing the score to 4-2. Although Rybakina ultimately secured the first set 6-3, the shift in momentum was palpable. Eala had made her mark, demonstrating she could compete in the rallies and instilling a hint of doubt in the mind of the world number 3. As the second set unfolded, this doubt enhanced into a significant challenge for Rybakina. Eala charged onto the court with renewed energy, having completely unraveled Rybakina's rhythm. Her footwork was mesmerizing, covering the court effortlessly and anticipating Rybakina's aggressive shots before they were even struck. Eala started using the drop shot with remarkable effectiveness. While Rybakina was a tall and powerful player, her slight vulnerability lay in her forward movement from the baseline to the net, and Eala took full advantage. She would drive Rybakina deep into her backhand corner with those fierce topspin shots, and as soon as Rybakina found herself anchored behind the baseline, Eala would delicately execute a backhand slice drop shot just over the net. This forced Rybakina to lunge and sprint, continually shifting her substantial frame back and forth. The relentless desert heat, paired with this rigorous physical challenge, began to take its toll on the Wimbledon champion. Eala broke Rybakina early in the second set, taking a 3-1 lead, much to the delight of an ecstatic crowd. Each of Eala's points resonated with thunderous roars. In response, Rybakina attempted to counter with even greater force, trying to power her way out of the tactical snare Eala had crafted. Yet the harder Rybakina struck, the more Eala absorbed and countered with her own defensive shots. Stretch out into a full split and Rybakina's attempt to counter a blistering 100 mph forehand back into the deep court was nothing short of demoralizing. Her unforced errors began to pile up, and her first serve percentage took a significant hit. She appeared rushed and frustrated, with no clear solutions in sight. Eala held her serve with precision, taking the second set 6-4, setting the stage for a decisive third set. The atmosphere in the stadium was electric. What followed in that final set was an intense battle of wills, showcasing some of the finest tennis we've witnessed all year. Both players understood the stakes involved. Rybakina even took a medical timeout off-court before the third set, perhaps hoping to regain her focus and cool down the fiery momentum of the Filipina player. When she returned, there was a noticeable spark. She rediscovered her first serve. For the first 6 games, it was all about holding serve, neither player willing to yield an inch. Tension soared as the score reached 3-all, with repeated instances of deuce and back-and-forth challenges that heightened the drama. Every rally felt monumental, with the entire tournament's weight resting on each point. The crux of the match arrived at 4-all when Rybakina launched 3 dazzling return winners, striking the lines with precision and setting up triple breakpoint at love 40. This was the pivotal moment, where the world number 3 aimed to subdue her opponent and seal the match. The stadium grew eerily quiet, bracing for what was next.